What do you genuinely not understand? People who take personal offense when your taste in music / movies / food / whatever differs from theirs. I went to college with a guy who listened to exclusively classic rock. Great genre, totally get it. Except he would get legitimately angry when someone put on rap in the car or wanted to sing pop at karaoke. Refused to work with a friend of mine in a group project because she loved techno. Said her opinions would never matter because obviously something was wrong with her. Why can't you just let people enjoy the shit they like? It's a form of elitism that makes themselves feel better and more cultured or intelligent than the people around them. It's dumb. I mean, look at the other comments on this post about people liking celebrities. It's the same shit. How anyone learns to read. When I try to break it down it just seems so crazy and impossible. See this shape? It sounds like this. Or like this. Or sometimes like this. Actually, sometimes it doesn't make any sound at all. Got it? Great. Now here's 25 more of them. But 4-year-olds are doing it. Insane. I've always wondered how English speaking kids learn to read. In my native language, Finnish, each letter represents only one sound. English speaking kids and or teachers must have some superpowers. Emotions. I have emotions, I experience emotions, but they don't permeate every part of my life, and I often think everyone else is overly emotional, when it's probably me just lacking emotional range. Edit, the empathy thing. I do understand empathy, and I act with the knowledge that I should do things based on how I want people to treat me, the golden rule, but it's not emotionally driven. It just seems ludicrous that someone wouldn't behave that way. Also, I know it's cliche, but thank you for my first gold. I thought this comment would just get buried. Edit, grammar. This one, yes. I don't get it either. To add a maybe different perspective about the commercials that aren't extremely terrible, but just okay and maybe kinda dumb. You gotta think about who they are marketing to. If you think it's dumb then they probably aren't marketing to you. A commercial like that would seem dumb to you, but really vibe with the intended target audience. But really there are some commercials out there that boggle my mind with how terrible they are. At least one person made my yearly salary bringing this piece of shit to the airwaves. I work in an agency similar to the one you describe. We just did a rebrand and the guy in change if creating our promotional video made absolute shit. But the problem is nobody could argue with him cause he's the director of design in our company and happens to be the CEO's best friend. So we ended up having to post this piece of ass video that those two thought were really good. It's just because they're so far up each other's asses and their own that they believe everything they make is gold. This is the real answer here. As someone who has also made piece of shit commercials, we know it's shit, but someone higher than us up the client chain has a vision and it's our dumb job to make that vision happen. I've had clients insist on using their family members as actors when said family clearly couldn't act, or they have a catchphrase that is just absolutely cringe-worthy, or they've got dreams worth millions, but a budget of 2k and expect you to figure out how to make it happen. Then we sit around and look at the garbage we made and say, well, this is what they asked for. Guys that hit each other in the nuts for fun. WTF is with that? I watched an interview with Steve-O and he says fans want him to kick them in the nuts and are so happy and thank him when he does. I think it's more the hitting that's supposed to be fun, not the being hit. Obviously it's a bit different with asking Steve-O back cause he's famous from Jackass. The person wants a cool story. Steve-O kicked me in the balls. An important note, when hitting your mates in the balls, you're supposed to do it lightly. It's about the reaction, not trying to cause them permanent damage. Of course that might happen accidentally anyway, but people doing it don't generally realize that. I was really good at maths at school until year 10th, when we hit a topic called numbers and proof. It was about proving that the answer to an equation was definitely right. I think. I don't really know, because I never understood a single thing the teacher said that whole term. Same for me. I was perfectly fine with math up until calculus. And while I got the bits and pieces of calculus, I could not understand the big picture of it. Like if you guide me step by step I could do it, but doing a problem on a test and navigating it myself, none of it made any logical sense to me. It all seemed like arbitrary wacky nonsense to me. And I thought maybe I had a bad teacher or something, but I had to take calc in college after that, and I did okay, but I think it was just because I had just repeated a course I had in high school, and any attempts to revisit it just made no sense. Edit. A lot of you are trying to explain calculus to me in terms that make calculus maddeningly incomprehensible. You're mostly proving my point. Traffic. You sit on the highway driving 3 miles per hour thinking must be a wreck ahead, then you get clear of the traffic and there was never any clear reason or cause for the traffic. People change lanes and those in the new lane have to slow down to accommodate. Snowballs from there. Exactly. If you stop 3 seconds to change your way, the next one has to stop that, and a little bit more, until it becomes a chain and the last one waits for a whole hour. The process of thought, how we can make so many decisions in a split second. Internal dialogue is crazy. Does everyone have the same sort of inner thoughts? Do animals have internal dialogue? When I think about it, it blows my mind. Oh man, I had a fucking existential crisis recently when I started thinking about how my thoughts just popped into my head and I actually have no control of what I think. Like I don't decide to think something, I just do. How the fuck do brains even work? Do I even have free will? Am I just a biological machine running calculations based on previous experience? Not to get too crazy, but man, this shit weirds me out whenever I think of it. Any kind of abuse, I have no idea how you can hit someone / something without a huge amount of guilt. I was with a girl who was abusive to me. You truly feel like you can never escape. And they think they are doing the world a favor by disciplining you. They are cruel and ignorant creatures who are selfish. They don't give a shit about how you feel as long as you are there to do their work and satisfy them. Selena. How language developed. Obviously it did, but I just can't fathom how. I just picture cavemen walking and pointing to things and grunting. Sorry for the edit, but my typo was driving me crazy. That's basically it. They made sounds to refer to stuff, and people caught on and used the same sounds and understood through context and repetition what each other meant, and it built and spread from there. I imagine early communication started with things like hey relax, I'm not gonna kill you, come here, look, food, tasty, animal, danger. All things that are kind of obvious what is intended to convey in context, and with pointing at the thing as you make a sound. Just thinking about life and the universe. Like where do we go after we die? Why are we here? Thinking about the universe and how big it is, and space and time. Black holes? Why are here generally, and what's our purpose? If there are other life forms in different galaxies? Nothing. Like the whole concept of nothing boggles my mind. What was here before our universe? Nothing. What's in between the atoms of our bodies? Nothing. What's for dinner? Nothing. I just don't get it. Quibi, why do I keep seeing / hearing ads for it everywhere? Are people actually watching these shows? What's the appeal? As far as I can tell, the only reason people are talking about it is that it had huge investors, over $1 billion in startup capital, and it looks like a terrible instant failure in addition to being yet another startup whose entire premise is sidestepping labor laws. Citation needed. I think there is a small chance it could be successful, but I really doubt it. Edit. Misremembered sidestepping labor laws as complaints by entertainment workers that the 10-minute format is part of a scheme to pay workers less. Learned from Griffin Newman's Twitter. Why I'm here. My mum decided to get laid 28 years ago, and he had to put up with the consequences ever since. And what if she did the deed 29 years ago instead? Would you be a completely different person, or just a barely noticeably older version? I often wonder how different I'd be if I were born slightly earlier or later. How big of a difference would there be if a different sperm got there first? This is less terrible, but a few months after getting my driver's license I was leaving town to go to work. I was on a 55 miles per hour highway and less than half a block away from an overpass over another highway where I have right of way and no stop/yield signs. Someone left the other highway using this exit, maintained highway speed going up the exit to where I was, ran his stop sign, and went straight across my highway onto the exit on the other side, right back down to the highway he just came off of, going the same direction and everything. He blared his horn and flipped me off while he did it. I was on a 2-lane highway, so traffic from both directions could have hit him or been hit by him at highway speeds from everyone involved. It was over 15 years ago, and I still think about it when I go through that town and across that overpass. Once you start to understand that people react according to how something makes them feel, and nobody wants to feel like the bad guy, human behavior makes a lot more sense. Frankly, being able to recognize when you are reacting out of shame/guilt can be a major opportunity for person growth. That kinda makes sense. But do people not feel embarrassment in these situations? Because when I fuck up in traffic or something, and someone honks, or the very few times when people have flipped me off when it's my fault, I just feel ashamed. Acting like a dick about it afterwards just sounds even more embarrassing. Relations with a friend/girlfriend. I communicate well just with friends and other people who surround me, but I do not understand what to do when you need to build relationships. I see my boyfriend as a sort of secondary best friend. I'll tell him absolutely anything that I'd tell my best friend, and go out and do anything that I normally would with any other friends. The only real difference is that at the end of the day we go back to the same house and have dinner together. Then we both go to our computers and happily ignore each other while we immerse ourselves in gaming for the remainder of the night because we're terrible adults. Edit. Mandatory thank you kind stranger for the award. ASMR. I don't understand how people like that. It creeps me out and makes me feel like someone is literally breathing down the back of my neck. Well, ASMR is actually a feeling that videos are designed to induce, not the videos themselves. If you don't experience it, I can see how a lot of the videos would just make people uncomfortable. Even among people who get tingles, there's a huge amount of variance in what triggers it. I find a lot of personal attention videos creepy, but some people love them because they are triggered by that content. TBH, a big problem with the whole thing is that a lot of people watch videos labeled ASMR just because it relaxes them, or in the case of the sexual ones, because it's basically soft porn, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it has led to a lot of confusion about what ASMR actually is. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.